So in today's show, we're going to discuss how you can leave the armour at the door and have a personal life. Welcome to the Rise to Thrive show. I'm your host, James Borman. If you are coming through, please do let me know and introduce yourself. Let people know what you think of this, if it helps, if it resonates. Let's make sure that we're communicating and engaging in the community. How are we doing? Hope you had an amazing weekend. It is a beautiful Monday morning. Sea's calm. If it wasn't so dark, I'd be in there. Listen, so I want to talk about leaving the armour at the door and trying to find the transition between your professional life and your personal life, okay? So let's talk about what the armour is first, okay? Let's understand that. So for me, I often think about, I have this visualization, is that when I was in Afghanistan and we went out on patrol, I used to stick on my version of my armour, my backpack, my webbing, my rifle, my helmet, and we were going out to war, you know, and with that brought high levels of emotion, high levels of distraction, of focus, and, you know, nothing else really mattered during that time while we had our armour on. We were just zoned in, right? So when you go to work, you in theory put on something similar, okay? Not necessarily with your webbing and your rifle, but you go to work and you put on your armour, you're almost ready for the encounters, the challenges, the curveballs, and over between how many hours you do and 8 to 12 hour shifts that you do, or work time, you build up emotional states, mental states, that allow you to be very distracted, heightened in stress, heightened in frustration, heightened in distraction. So what happens is that when you bring that home after work, you go straight from the professional life to your personal life. You walk through the front door, and your wife doesn't know if you're going to be in a good mood or a bad mood, so she's treading on eggshells and trying to scope out when you walk in what type of mood you're in. And the kids are desperate to want to see you, and they've been waiting to see you for hours, and you walk in and you can be in a complete and utter cock because you've left the armour on. So what we need to somehow find out is how we can transition from being in that emotional state where we are wearing the armour to walking through the front door, and actually the wife not feeling tense about what mood you're in, and you being able to give your full attention to the kids who have been dying to see you all day, and you not being that massive bell end. So there's a couple of tips and tricks that I want to give you, okay? The first thing that I think to do is that before we even leave the place of work is allowing ourselves to unravel this, okay? I want you to be able to unravel this, because that is where most of our emotional conditioning comes from. It's where a lot of our emotional decisions are made. It's where a lot of the build-up of the armour is. So I feel like something as simple as before you leave the office is to do a brain dump. Now, a brain dump is being able to write down everything that's going on in your mind that you need to do, that went on through the office, that went on through the day, and allowing yourself to reflect on that before you even leave the office, before you go home, because that allows you to process the information that's happened. That allows you to process a lot of the information that's happened, and once it's down on paper, it's almost like taking a heavy burden off your back and sticking it down. You've taken the weight off of your chest. You've got some clarity. You've got some control of your emotions again. You're making sense of everything that's going on here. And sometimes it can feel like you're on overflow with information and things you're going to do and people that have pissed you off. So by writing it down and kind of keeping that review, it allows you to clear some of your mind. Now, I think the majority of people I know commute to work. You have some form of commute. So whether it's a train, a bike, a car, or something else, or walking, running. But we all have the ability to stick some earphones in. And as we are commuting home, we can listen to a decent book, a good chapter of a book, a good podcast. Getting your mind and transitioning it away from thinking of work and thinking it more about positivity, thinking more about someone's journey if you're listening to an autobiography. It just distracts the mind, and as you go through the transition, the being in the professional environment to go into your personal environment, it's a great little trick to be able to think and start thinking about, oh, fuck it, if you're listening to Ant Middleton, or if you're listening to my book, It's a State of Mind, or if you're listening to a self-help book, you're thinking about something that they've mentioned, and suddenly your mind is started to thinking about other things other than work, okay? The other thing that I would recommend is that when you get home, is just go for a 10-15 minute walk. So if you walk home, then brilliant. If you cycle home, then brilliant. If you get in the car home, or if you get in the train home, or if you get a lift home, just go for that 10-minute walk. Don't listen to anything, just walk it out, all right? Some form of activity is a great way to be able to relieve a lot of the stress that have built up through the day. You know, do a 10-minute workout somewhere. Go to the park and do it. Go in the house and do it. Go straight upstairs and just get it on in the garden, whatever it's going to be. But some form of activity. Now, this transition routine is just as important as the morning routine. The morning routine prepares us for the day. The transition routine prepares us for the way home and the relaxation. When you get in and when you get home, or before you walk through the door, your business, your career, your life is not going to end by you putting your phone on airplane mode, okay? So when you get in, put the laptop away somewhere. Turn your phone on airplane mode or do not disturb, so only family and friends can get through. Do not be distracted. And we've done 4 things there that are going to help us transition into the personal space, so that when we get to the front door, we've taken the armour off, we're not in that emotional state, we're fully ready to be in that personal state, so that we can build the relationships that matter most to us and not be thinking about what our fucking bell end of a boss or your bell end of your peers or the people that work for you have been going on all day. So it's like a nice steady transition. The brain dump before you leave work. The listening to audio, listening to something positive. Okay, the activity, whether it's a walk, whether it's a little 10-minute workout, something just to get rid of the last cobwebs of the day. And then when you walk through the door, put your phone on Do Not Disturb or aeroplane mode, so that no one can be distracting you and you're not going on your laptop. Okay, so when you're home, you're home. Be present. Because your kids are not going to be young forever. And when they're older and they've moved off, you'll only sit there regretting what a dickhead you were and how much attention you didn't give them. Make the most of the time that you have. And even if you don't have kids, think about the time that you deserve to yourself away from work. Think about how much time and effort you want to put into your missus and your wife. All right? The balance comes from you learning the process, loving the process, implementing the process. These tips that I've given will only work if you do them over and over and over again. It's the process of change. You can go, yeah, they're great tips, and then do fuck all with them, and nothing will ever change. The only way that things will change if you implement them. Sure, you are going to fucking fail in them. I'm telling you now, you'll fail at doing them. But that's the whole point, is that the process takes you through the failure to then come out the other side with the sun shining, and you start seeing the results and you start seeing the patterns changing in your brain. You are in complete and utter fucking control of your life. So take control of it. Take some of the tips that I'm giving you, other people are giving you that you're listening to, and implement. Because implementation is fucking king. Dwelling, thinking, moaning, wallowing in your own shit isn't. Have a good Monday.